the Ugly antenna is small and connects directly to your TV. Get the Ugly antenna for just $40. Call 704-682-1755. That's 704-682-1755 for the Ugly antenna.
Well, happy Friday, everybody. Yes, it is Friday. Glad that you guys are here rocking with me on the scoreboard. 844-STUDIO-4 is the phone number. Anything you want to talk about, we are here for you for, let's call it the next 54 minutes or so. Oh, we're going to have some fun today. So let's get right into it. Why not, right? I mean, there's a lot going on in the world of sports. We got baseball starting back up. We got the WNBA All-Star games and All-Star skills competition. Skills competition's coming up tonight. Tomorrow night is the WNBA All-Star game. Get this. I think this is actually pretty cool. It's going to be the WNBA All-Stars versus the Women's U.S. Basketball National Team. So the Olympic team is going to be playing the WNBA All-Stars. Obviously, there's a little bit of crossover there with All-Stars or on the women's national team. So a lot of them are just going to the national team, and the WNBA team that we have, I have the roster here. We'll go over a few names. And we can talk about the women's basketball team as well, Team USA. The Open Championship is happening over the pond, and Tiger Woods is not having himself a good day. Tiger missed the cut. Yep. Tiger missed the cut. It was a very bad Friday and a very bad Thursday and a very bad Friday for him, as he ends up plus 14 in 2 days. A real tough look there for Tiger Woods, as he is cut from the Open Championship. Only the second time he's ever been cut from the Open Championship. We have some soccer coming up this weekend. Charlotte FC is going to be in action. Now, I want to make sure we talk a little bit about Charlotte FC, because coming up in the next couple of weeks is Leagues Cup. Charlotte FC 1 week from today plays Philadelphia in game 1 of the group stage of Leagues Cup. Now, I'll tell you what. I'm going to be interested to see what happens with Charlotte FC in this tournament, because last year it felt like the turning point. It felt like once we got into the knockout stage and went over to the quarterfinal rounds in Leagues Cup, that momentum followed into the MLS regular season, and it's one of the reasons, in my opinion, that Charlotte FC was even in the playoffs last year for the MLS. So we'll talk a little soccer. Yesterday, we talked about what happened on Wednesday with Philadelphia Union, a 14-year-old debuting for the MLS. I still cannot wrap my mind around that. 14 years old, and he's in Major League Soccer. The other thing with Charlotte FC is Karol Swiderski. He is returned. We talked about it a little bit. He wasn't eligible to play until after the game on the 20th, which is tomorrow. So that means that the first game that Karol Swiderski is going to be eligible to play is game number 1 of Leagues Cup against Philadelphia. That is big. I'd expect him to be in the lineup, as he was a good player when he was here last year, putting in a lot of goals in the back of the net. But only about a week away from the possibility of him being back on the pitch for Charlotte FC. We have the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, all heading to Indianapolis this weekend. The Craftsman Truck Series is going to be at IRP. So are the ARCA Menards cards. And we have some practice results. Fastest lap, best speed, how many laps you've run. We will talk about what's going on there because, man, oh man, it's going to be an interesting weekend in the Cup Series when it comes to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I really don't know what to expect, but man, I hope we see some passing. That's about the only thing that I can say is I really hope we don't have a parade happening where, yeah, people are able to pass, but not really all that well. You know, if you're in the middle of the pack, maybe you can pass because the guy in front of you checks up. But for the leaders, the top 5, the top 10, I'm really concerned that we're going to have a parade going around Indianapolis. And I think that would be one of the worst things that NASCAR could do is put on an event where we just parade around for what's going to be 160 laps. That's been the traditional length of the Brickyard 400. And, well, it's going to be another 160 laps, 400 miles. If you are unable to be in front of your television set on Sunday, don't worry, we got you covered here on WSIC. Starting at 1:30, you'll be able to tune in and listen. Broadcasted by Indianapolis themselves. So some new commentators this weekend if you're going to be listening. We're also going to talk some baseball as the season resumes after a all-star break, we'll call it. We have a game currently going on. The Cubs and the Diamondbacks are in a match right now. They're in the bottom of the 9th. Cubs have a runner on first and second, down 3. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe the Cubs on the first day back from the all-star break put one over the fence here and tie the game late in the bottom of the 9th. Also, there's some college football news-ish. I don't know how much newsy it is, but there is some things going on in the world of college football, and as well as a field being renamed, which I find pretty interesting, and it's a mouthful. It is a mouthful. I just can't wait for it to end with presented by and then a sponsor. So we'll go over that a little bit later on in the show. But we're going to start things off in the world of the WNBA. And we're coming up on our first commercial break. So just a quick little recap of what's going to go on. Tonight we have the Kia Skills Challenge and the Starry 3-point contest. Caitlin Clark is not going to be participating in the 3-point contest. I'm not too surprised that she's not. She is a rookie after all, and I don't know if you want to take the spotlight away from anybody, but it is interesting when you look at it and say, you know what? The WNBA should be putting Caitlin Clark out there because that's the biggest draw right now. It goes back to Major League Baseball and the Home Run Derby, what I was talking about with the Home Run Derby, where why is it that the top stars, the top home run hitters are not participating in the Derby? Those are the guys that have recognizable names, and they're not in the Home Run Derby. Well, it seems weird to not have Caitlin Clark in the 3-point contest. She's one of the biggest draws in the WNBA right now, and it seems like they're missing the mark on this one. I would have put her in the WNBA 3-point contest, but what do I know? We always say that. I may not know what I'm talking about. We're going to head to our first commercial break on this Friday, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, an isolated shower or thunderstorm still in the forecast as we go into the rest of our Friday evening. Partly cloudy overnight as temperatures drop down to around 70. Heading into our weekend, we'll get scattered shower and thunderstorm chance in both days, but won't be washouts. You'll just have to keep an eye on the weather from time to time if you have outdoor plans. High temperatures for your Saturday in the upper 80s to near 90. For Sunday afternoon, we're in the mid and upper 80s again. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Serenity Now Massage Therapy.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. On Thursday, Brookdale Village in Huntersville welcomes Dave Scott Crow's Amusination Academy. An afternoon of imagination, music, and amusement will be on the green at Brookdale Village. Dave's Amusination concert and Pick Me Up Mike are crowd favorites. Come relax and enjoy, or take the stage. It's perfect for the whole family. The fun begins at 4:30 Thursday afternoon, July 18th on the green at Brookdale Village in Huntersville. Langtree Live continues their live music series on Thursday. Alex Key takes the stage at 7 p.m. for this free concert. Event time is 6:30. Bring your chairs early and enjoy the food and beverages that Langtree restaurants have to offer. We'll see you on Thursday evening for Langtree Live's free concert series. Come see the coolest cars, trucks, and motorcycles at Hot Rods and Hops this Friday night at RevFast in Mooresville. This monthly show welcomes all auto enthusiasts with vehicles on display, food trucks, beer from Hoptown Brewing, and the Hot Rod community. Come see old friends and make some new ones on Friday night after 5 at the Late Apex Storage Condos in Mooresville for Hot Rods and Hops. The kids' edition of Battle of the Bands takes place Sunday at Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville. 6 bands, 2 stages, song versus song, set versus set with 1 champion. Come see the future of the local music scene powered by Waves Entertainment. 4 p.m. Sunday at Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville with the kids' edition of Battle of the Bands. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series at Charlotte Motor Speedway gives you your midweek need for speed. This 10-race series, night number 9, is on Tuesday, July 23rd on the front stretch quarter-mile oval. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
The number one station for people who say we're their favorite station.
WSIC.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here on the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4 is the phone number. Anything you want to chat about, I'm here for you. We're talking a little WNBA action on the other side of the break. Continuing that, yesterday there was a trade, actually. I want to talk about this. One of the All-Stars participating in the Skills Challenge, and, well, not only the Skills Challenge, but also the three-point contest, Marina Marbury, was traded from the Sky to the Sun. I don't know if anybody really thought that this was going to happen, but you see a All-Star get traded here right before the All-Star break. That's pretty interesting, if you ask me. So just some fun stuff there. I have the participants for you for tonight. The WNBA Skills Challenge is going to be up first. It's going to feature 4 guards and 1 center. You got Sophie Cunningham, Alicia Gray, Marina Marbury, as we just talked about, and Erica Wheeler. Those are your guards. And Brittany Griner is going to be the center participating in the Skills Challenge. You have 2 centers and 3 guards participating in the three-point challenge. Those 2 centers are Stephanie Dolson and Jonquel Jones. The guards, Alicia Gray, Marina Marbury, and Kayla McBride. All of those players are going to be in the three-point contest tonight. Tomorrow, I'm really curious to see how it's going to go, because it's interesting to me that they're going to have the women's national team participating against the all-star team. Some of the players on that national team include Chelsea Gray, Brittany Griner, Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, who's been in the league forever. Aja Wilson's going to be playing as well. So you have some pretty high-profile players on this national team. And there's 2 rookies on Team WNBA. Not only is Caitlin Clark going to be playing, but Angel Reese also made the squad. Man, that's going to be interesting for the people who like to pit those 2 against each other. They get to be teammates tomorrow night. That'll be fun. Some other players you may or may not know that are going to be on that all-star team. Aaliyah Boston, who's got a year under her belt now. Kayla McBride, who we just talked about being in the 3-point contest. Brianna Jones, Alicia Gray, some of the players on that WNBA all-star roster. I'm excited to watch this. I will be tuning in to not only the skills challenge, but also the all-star game tomorrow night, just to kind of see what all the fuss is about. You know, everybody's talking about the WNBA. They don't have the most nationally televised game, so it can be hard to see all of these players. But with the all-star game being broadcast to everybody, I'm excited. The WNBA All-Star Game is going to be tomorrow at 8:30. Moving on from the WNBA, although I do love that we are talking about the WNBA this late into the summer. Last point I'll make actually on the WNBA, they're in a really good spot right now. Middle of summer, WNBA is going on. Obviously, we're going to take a break for the Olympics, but also the WNBA usually breaks in the middle of the season as well. You're in a spot here where it's July. We're only really talking about soccer and baseball and golf every weekend. If the WNBA can continue this momentum, I would not be surprised if one day the WNBA is the sport of the summer, because baseball has been losing its steam for a while, and it still is. They're having trouble getting younger audience attached to it. The WNBA has the opposite problem. A lot of younger people are starting to tune in, and give it a few years, the WNBA could become the headline-making league of the summer. Whereas for forever, it was baseball who would kind of take the reins as we get to summer, before training camp starts, before the NBA restarts, before the NHL restarts. So there's an interesting spot here where the WNBA could possibly, over the next few years, start to take control of the summer headlines. So we'll keep an eye on that. And it's something that you should probably keep an eye on too, because I really think that we're going to get to a spot where the WNBA is going to be considered a major sport in the U.S. Now let's move on. Okay, we talked our WNBA, the All-Star Game, the Skills Challenge, everything going on there, the trade. Now let's get into NASCAR. Okay, I want to bring back the quotes from all 3 drivers that we've heard from throughout the week. That would be Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Denny Hamlin. But also I want to talk a little bit about practice, which happened not too long ago, actually. The Cup cars were on the track making some laps. The fastest driver out there was Tyler Reddick. Did you expect that? I mean, I didn't. But it's all right. Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, and Alex Bowman is your 5th fastest driver. I'll tell you what, I'm not off the Alex Bowman train just yet. He got a win at that street course, and we saw last week at Pocono, the momentum carried over. He was battling Ryan Blaney for the lead. He actually, I think there was a point in that final run where, had the cars actually been able to follow each other, Bowman would have been able to put a fight up to Ryan Blaney. But because of all the air blocking that you can do in these things, Blaney was able to keep Bowman behind him. But Bowman gets that win, and then he finishes 3rd at Pocono. Now he's a top 5 fastest car in practice going into Indianapolis. So, hey, Alex Bowman getting some momentum. I'm excited for Indy. Okay. I don't like the road course. I think I've made that pretty clear over the last, I don't know, how long have I been talking to you guys now? A little over a year on this on the scoreboard here. I'm not a big fan of the road courses. It's just not the most entertaining thing. You know, there are entertaining moments on road courses. We've seen it before. What was it, the first or second year that we had the Roval? The wreck between Johnson and Truex and Blaney getting the win and Kyle Larson banging off the walls to make the next round. There's been some moments in the road courses, but that Indy road course, man, it hasn't been the best. We had a curb come up and destroy 10 race cars. We have all kinds of problems getting slowed up for turn 1. And last year it was, a 1 caution race? I'm glad we're back on the oval, but if these cars are just going to parade around, we could end up at a time and place where maybe we're not going to Indianapolis anymore. Who knows? Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, your top 5, rounding out the top 10, and this is where it gets a little interesting. Kyle Larson 6th, Brad Keselowski 7th, Chris Buescher 8th, William Byron 9th, and Carson Hocevar, the 10th fastest car in practice. There's a lot more going on at Indianapolis today. A little bit later here, and actually in about 3 minutes, we'll have the ARCA Menard series starting from IRP. And then late tonight, 8:30, the truck series is going to be at IRP. Tomorrow you have Xfinity qualifying as well as Cup qualifying, followed by the Xfinity race, and then obviously the Brickyard 400 on Sunday. One of the fastest cars in the Brickyard 400 practice was Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney got the win at Pocono last week. Here's what Blaney says about what he can take from Pocono over to Indy.
I think there are some unknowns. We learned a lot from the wheel force and Goodyear test there. And I feel like the biggest corner you can kind of take away from this track that applies to Indy is turn 3, pretty flat, fairly smooth corner, and Indy has a lot of similarities. So I think we'll take the things we learned, what we worked on in practice through the race that helped us in turn 3, and I think you can apply it. So big track, momentum track, how do you get off the corner? I'm sure we'll be shifting in Indy like we were here. So I do think there are things that can carry over.
Momentum, big, wide, sweeping, flat corner. That's pretty much what Indianapolis is. So I expect for Blaney to put up a fight here this weekend. He is good at Pocono. We've talked about Denny Hamlin being good at tracks that are flat. Those guys would be a pretty good bet if you're looking for somebody to root for this weekend. But I have no idea who is going to be on the top step of that podium as we come to Sunday. It's going to be a mess, I'll tell you that much. Heading to the halfway point on this Friday. You're listening to the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4 is the phone number. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back right after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, an isolated shower or thunderstorm still in the forecast as we go into the rest of our Friday evening. Partly cloudy overnight as temperatures drop down to around 70. Heading into our weekend, we'll get scattered shower and thunderstorm chance in both days, but won't be washouts. You'll just have to keep an eye on the weather from time to time if you have outdoor plans. High temperatures for your Saturday in the upper 80s to near 90. For Sunday afternoon, we're in the mid and upper 80s again. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
more than a century ago, Bunch Johnson Funeral Home was founded on compassion. Let us assist you with pre-planning for funerals and cremations. Our family is here when you need us. Bunch Johnson Funeral Home.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Attention, fellow conservative investors. What does the name Reagan mean to you? It stands for being the ultimate conservative. It also stands for the Reagan Gold Group. Do you see storm clouds approaching? The stock market hates uncertainty, and there are plenty of reasons to be concerned. High inflation, unstable debt, and economic uncertainty are just a few. You have car insurance, homeowners insurance, and life insurance. But do you have insurance for your retirement savings and your 401k? We urge all fellow conservative investors to learn about the one asset that could help ensure your nest egg doesn't crack under economic pressure. G-O-L-D, gold. Call the one name any conservative investor needs to know about. Reagan Gold Group.
800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. That's 800-296.
Rev up your dreams with a bike from Tilly Harley-Davidson. Whether you're new to Harley or a seasoned pro, Tilly has the bike for you. Come experience the freedom of the ride. Feel the thrill of the road and the thunder that only a Harley can provide. Stop by Tilly Harley-Davidson of Statesville or go to TillyHD.com.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. When describing the passion with which they play, many athletes comment that they are hungry to win. And as sports fans, we admire those athletes who demonstrate that kind of hunger for victory during competition. But as followers of Jesus, we need to ask ourselves, how hungry are we? Are we driven to know God, follow Him, and serve Him? Do we crave to have a deeper understanding of His Word and to live a life of obedience? Jesus tells us, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Our attitude should always be one of passionately pursuing after God so that we can become more like Him. Just like in sports, the greater the hunger that we have, the better the results. Today, let's be encouraged to hunger and thirst after God and His righteousness and be motivated to do what it takes to become more and more like Him. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. In what will likely go down as the most spectacular IT failure the world has ever seen, today a botched software update from cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike crashed countless Microsoft Windows computer systems globally. Both companies have rolled out fixes. Systems are being restored. CrowdStrike shares, though, were down 11%. The extent of global damage done by the security patch fiasco underscores just how dominant Microsoft Windows remains throughout the world. StatCounter says Windows, the only operating system hit by today's outage, is installed on 70% of the world's computers. Reuters is reporting Panera is shopping around its Caribou Coffee and Einstein Brothers Bagels businesses in a deal that could value the chains at more than $1.5 billion. Stocks end the week lower. The Dow lost 377 or 1%. The S&P down 40 or 0.7%. The Nasdaq lost 144 or 0.8%. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Second half of the Scoreboard on this beautiful Friday. Glad you're all here listening. Hopefully everybody being safe on their way home today. 5 o'clock drive time. You probably just got out of the office and you're bolting home. Don't bolt home on 77. You know it's going to stop when you get to the lake. You know it's going to stop. Don't look at the lake. It's not going anywhere, I promise. Oh, we're going to spend the next 25 minutes or so chatting about the world of sports. We've been in the middle of previewing the Brickyard 400, the first one in 4 years, and we heard from Ryan Blaney comparing turn 3 at Pocono to Indianapolis, and he's not wrong. It is very similar. Flat corner, very long corner, very fast corner that leads to a long straightaway. That's pretty much what Indianapolis is. Let's hear from one of the top 5 fastest cars in practice, Denny Hamlin, on his expectations for the racing at the Brickyard this weekend.
Indy will be no different. It will be an execution type race. You're going to need to qualify well, but you just never know what can happen. Strategy is a big deal there. I do hope that these cars have enough drag down the straightaway to create slingshot type passes like we see on the Indy cars at that track. The only thing that will limit that is that I think our corner speeds are maybe just a hair too fast for the second place guy to stay close enough to make that work. So it'll be tough, but I think on new tires you got a shot to see something pretty great. Other than that, I think the purist needs to be looking at the strategy part of it.
Yeah, the strategy part of it. Everybody loves that, right? The strategy part of the race. Because you know you're not going to be able to pass. I think Denny Hamlin, as much as we clown him at times on the show, and Good Morning LKN, Justin does the same thing, he makes a lot of good points when he talks during his podcast post-race. I would not be surprised if one of the things that he talks about on his podcast after Sunday is how it's impossible to pass at Indianapolis. It's my biggest fear going into the weekend that we're just going to have whoever's out in front is going to be able to stay out in front because they're not going to get a draft from behind. And, well, you're not going to be able to be close enough in the corners to do anything about it because they are still pretty high-speed corners at Indianapolis. So we'll see what happens there. One more driver to hear from, and that's William Byron on how special it is to return to the Oval at the Brickyard.
I'm super excited. I think this was a decision a lot of drivers wanted. So I think it'll be difficult to pass, which isn't abnormal with this car, but it'll come down to strategy and execution and also just your qualifying and everything. So I'm excited for it. I think the track is fun to make laps on. I'm sure it'll be tricky with the next-gen car, probably a little bit edgy, but I think it'll be everything we want as drivers to be back on the oval with the history that it has.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're back on the oval. I am, and I'm like most of the drivers where I'd rather us not go to the Indianapolis road course again, but at the same time, you heard William Byron express the same concern that you're just not going to be able to pass when you get there. Qualifying is going to be important, the strategy, just staying up front. Miss the days of just being able to drive through the field. Sunday afternoon, 2:30, the Brickyard 400 from Indianapolis. 1:30, you can tune into WSIC and listen to the race if you're unable to watch. As we speak, the ARCA Menard Series is rolling off the grid here, going through their pace laps at IRP. Gonna have a nice little race here a little later on tonight as well, as the Truck Series is going to be on the same surface that ARCA is on right now. We're going to move on from the world of NASCAR here, get into a couple of other things that are happening in the sports world. Here's a story that we haven't really touched on all that much yet, but I do want to bring it in at this point. Utah State So Utah State's athletic director and university president told their football coach Blake Anderson that he was fired for attempting to personally investigate the circumstances of a player's domestic violence arrest, according to the termination letter that ESPN obtained on Friday. Well, that's pretty interesting. The letter states you engaged in investigative efforts regarding the domestic violence arrest, including meeting with and collecting written statements from the potential victim and another witness. You undertook these actions following an arrest and while a criminal investigation was ongoing. This is going to be interesting. Now the Coach Anderson went on to say that he was investigating because he wanted to know what happened so he can figure out how to discipline his players. Is he going to get suspended? Is he going to get kicked off the team? Now there's going to be a lawsuit here. There's a lawyer already getting involved. I don't know how this one's going to end, to be honest with you. I kind of just got to throw my hands up in the air on this one. Because on one side of the occasion, I completely get why he's wanting to investigate. But on the other side, like, it's an active, ongoing criminal investigation. Why are you taking written statements? You're not the police. You're not an investigator. You're the football coach. Now, I'm not saying he's overstepping his bounds by any mean, but I'm glad he wants to figure out what happened. But, I just think this is an interesting story. And the next few days, the next few weeks, the next few months are going to be kind of slow with this one. Everything's slow when it comes to college sports and the NCAA and anything like that. So we might not know anything anytime soon, but I'm curious to see where this goes. Does the school just pay the same? He wants his guaranteed money. That's basically what it is. I'm sure he doesn't care that he was fired. Like, you can find another job. He's got a Mountain West title. You can find another job. You got to get that money though, because apparently he was not given the money that was left on his contract. His attorney said that they will pursue all available legal remedies while stating the school owed Anderson the buyout money guaranteed in his contract, a public apology, and retraction of its defamatory press release. It was over a 70-page response that Anderson submitted to Utah State earlier this week, talking about a sham investigation and the school wasn't doing anything about it. It's kind of a mess, but hey, at the root of the problem, how about these coaches, teach the kids not to hit women? Why don't the parents do that as well? That seems like the simple solution here. Just don't hit women. I don't get what's so hard about that. Who knows? Coming up on the final segment here on the Scoreboard, we're going to talk a little soccer as well as some other things going on in the world of sports, some other news articles that I want to get to. So don't go anywhere on this Friday. Even if you already got home, don't leave the car yet. All right? We got one more segment on this Friday. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Be back right after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, an isolated shower or thunderstorm still in the forecast as we go into the rest of our Friday evening. Partly cloudy overnight as temperatures drop down to around 70. Heading into our weekend, we'll get scattered shower and thunderstorm chance in both days, but won't be washouts. You'll just have to keep an eye on the weather from time to time if you have outdoor plans. High temperatures for your Saturday in the upper 80s to near 90. For Sunday afternoon, we're in the mid and upper 80s again. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. On Thursday, Birkdale Village in Huntersville welcomes Dave Scott Crow's Amusination Academy. An afternoon of imagination, music, and amusement will be on the green at Birkdale Village. Dave's Amusination concert and Pick Me Up Mike are crowd favorites. Come relax and enjoy, or take the stage. It's perfect for the whole family. The fun begins at 4:30 Thursday afternoon, July 18th on the green at Birkdale Village in Huntersville. Langtree Live continues their live music series on Thursday. Alex Key takes the stage at 7 p.m. for this free concert. Event time is 6:30. Bring your chairs early and enjoy the food and beverages that Langtree restaurants have to offer. We'll see you on Thursday evening for Langtree Live's free concert series. Come see the coolest cars, trucks, and motorcycles at Hot Rods and Hops this Friday night at RevFast in Mooresville. This monthly show welcomes all auto enthusiasts with vehicles on display, food trucks, beer from Hoptown Brewing, and the Hot Rod community. Come see old friends and make some new ones on Friday night after 5 at the Late Apex Storage Condos in Mooresville for Hot Rods and Hops. The kids edition of Battle of the Bands takes place Sunday at Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville. 6 bands, 2 stages, song versus song, set versus set with 1 champion. Come see the future of the local music scene powered by Waves Entertainment. 4 p.m. Sunday at Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville with the kids edition of Battle of the Bands. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series at Charlotte Motor Speedway gives you your midweek Need for Speed. This 10-race series, night number 9, is on Tuesday, July 23rd on the front stretch quarter-mile oval. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Parents can find a quality classical Christian education at Headwaters Academy. For more information, the phone number is 704-876-1520.
Quality Car Care is your local Toyota specialist and a licensed NC inspection station. Plus, find a huge selection of quality pre-owned cars at QualityCarCareStatesville.com or call 704-871-2535.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're listening to the Scoreboard here. Final segment on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Not too hot out there. Not 90 degrees. Man, oh man, isn't that wonderful. We got some news here that I want to get to. This one's from late last night. Alabama. No, not the state, the school. Alabama will honor former coach Nick Saban by naming its football field for him at Bryant-Denny Stadium, the school announced Friday. So it's going to be known as Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's a mouthful. Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and eventually it's going to be like presented by Pepsi or something like that. You just know it. So if the next big head coach, the next time they have a big head coach who, wins them 6 national championships, what is he gonna get named? Can't take the field, can't take the stadium. I'm just kind of joking about that. Saban retired in January. Get this. In his career at Alabama, he was 108-9 at home. 108-9 at home. They won 21 in a row in Tuscaloosa before they lost to Texas. In his final 8 seasons as head coach, Saban's only SEC home loss was to LSU in 2019. If you know your college football, you know that LSU team, they went undefeated and won the national championship that year. 108-9 in 17 seasons at home. Whew! It's an all-time record right there. Nice little piece of news there. Here's one for you. The Chicago Fire, the MLS team out of Chicago, they announced Friday that they will provide compensation to fans if Lionel Messi is unable to feature due to an injury when Inter Miami visits Soldier Field on August 31st. For fans who already have tickets, the Fire will offer the opportunity to claim 2 complimentary tickets to the Fire's 2014 Fan Appreciation Night for the October 19th match versus Nashville. And that's pretty interesting. You know, we talk about load management in the NBA, and man, imagine you're a fan of LeBron James, and you've never been to a basketball game, and they're coming to the Lakers are coming to Charlotte, and you buy a ticket, and you go to the game, and they're resting LeBron. Load management. The MLS did have a little bit of a problem with this not long ago. Earlier this season, there was a lot of criticism from the Vancouver Whitecap fans when Miami rested Messi and Luis Suarez for a game in Canada. The hosts of that, Vancouver, offered in-stadium food and drink 50% off to the club record attendance in an attempt to combat fan frustration. Load management is not a good thing. And when you're Lionel Messi and you're the most popular soccer player in the world and you come to the United States and you're doing your tour of the United States and people want to come see you play, they're going to buy tickets just to see you play. Remember last year, they opened up the upper bowl at Bank of America Stadium because Messi was coming to play. I don't mind this. I mean, maybe 2 complimentary tickets is a bit much, but I like the 50% off food and drink. It should have been free. I mean, 50% off, you're still not even... Stadium 50% off food is still not even close to, like, the regular price of food. So, I mean, I like the sentiment there that they're going to help the fans out if he doesn't play, but 2 tickets to a game in October? Hey, I mean, I wouldn't be complaining. Also, we got some MVP polls for Major League Baseball. The latest polls shows that Aaron Judge in the American League and Shohei Ohtani in the National League are kind of running away with the votes. It's not surprising. 2 of the best players this year. In the poll that Major League Baseball put out, there was nobody within 25 votes of Judge and Ohtani. So if you're looking for an early MVP for the Major League Baseball season, those are your guys. And Aaron Judge is on a possible record-breaking pace for American League home runs yet again. He's got over 30. We're just past the halfway point in the season. Everybody's coming up on that 100-game mark that we've been talking about. Some teams seem to be about 5 games away from that 100-game mark. If he gets hot in the second half of the season, who knows? Who knows? It could be a very interesting run to the finish when it comes to records and how many home runs you hit. One thing's for sure, that if those 2 stay healthy, Judge and Ohtani, they're probably going to be rewarded at the end of the year with a couple of MVP trophies. So don't be surprised. You got ARCA Racing at IRP going on right now. They're already 25 laps into that. Later on tonight, the Truck Series, the Craftsman Truck Series, is going to be on the same racetrack as the ARCA cars are now. Tomorrow, like we said, in NASCAR Xfinity race, and then Sunday, the Brickyard 400. That's what's going on in the world of sports. Later on tonight, you have the WNBA Skills Challenge. Tomorrow is the WNBA All-Star Game. It's going to be the WNBA All-Stars versus Team USA. A very interesting concept. if you ask me. I'd love to see the NBA do something like that as well. Maybe next year, take the guys who were on Team USA and say, hey, you're going to be on a team here. You're going to be going against the All-Stars. That way it's maybe a little competitive, maybe something to play for. You know, you're going to say, yeah, let's go beat these guys because I should have been on the Olympic team. I think that'd be pretty interesting. And I really like what the WNBA is doing during their All-Star break. Let's get to this day in sports history. On this day in 1910, Cy Young won his 500th game of his baseball career. A 5-2 win over the Washington Senators. By the way, it was in 11 innings. So that means that he was still pitching when it went to extra innings because, well, it went to extra innings. He couldn't have been taken out when the game was tied. He wouldn't have gotten credit for the win. You're never going to see somebody throw 11 innings. That's just not happening ever again. Unless it's a 0-0 perfect game going into the 10th. Who knows? And here's my question. Tangent real quick. With the regular season extra inning rules where you start with a runner on second, if you bring a perfect game into extras, does that kill the perfect game? It's a little confused. What if you get a double play and you face less than the minimum? Because it's 27, and then in extras it would be 30. But if you get a double play and then get the next out, that's only 29. Is that better than a perfect game? Like, I'm a little confused on that. Anyway, 1920. Yeah, we're over 100 years away here. Babe Ruth hit his 30th home run of the 1920 baseball season, breaking his own single-season record. He would attain 54 throughout the season, breaking that record the year after. This man was breaking his own home runs all the time. And I'll tell you what, I still don't believe, I really don't. I don't believe the 525-foot home run, 575 feet. Even more ridiculous. Yeah, that's not a thing. 2020, in Formula One, Lewis Hamilton wins a record 8th Hungarian Grand Prix in Budapest, which equaled Michael Schumacher's record at this for wins at a single circuit. Schumacher won 8 times at the French GP. And also on this day in 2009 was the 17th ESPY Awards. Best athlete went to Michael Phelps that year. Surprising? No, not really. It's not very surprising because, well, he was the number 1 athlete according to ESPN of the 2000s. Thanks, everyone, for tuning into the Scoreboard this week. It was a wonderful week talking to you guys. I am going to be here same time, same place on Monday when we come back. You're not going to want to miss a thing here on the Scoreboard. Check out everything going on in the world of sports this weekend. Check out the NASCAR race at Indianapolis. First time at the Brickyard. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll talk to you Monday. Until then, see ya.
Serving you better than ever before. 105.9 100.7 WS